Wir wollen in die nächste Runde gehen, meine Damen und Herren. Visions of Leaders nennen wir diese nächste Runde. Und sie hat den schönen Untertitel, wie Sie sehen können, Success in a Fragmented Media World. Und ich freue mich sehr, dass wir dazu, glaube ich, eine sehr kompetente Runde hier zusammenbekommen konnten. Begrüßen Sie zunächst Rebecca Conroy, BBC Worldwide. Very welcome. Lisa Utscheider, Amazon, welcome on stage. Dr. Martin Endele von der Deutschen Telekom, herzlich willkommen. Ich freue mich sehr auf Thomas Ebeling, Pro7 Sat.1 Media. Ein Mann, mit dem man immer gern diskutiert, Sarachit Mitra, HSBC. Very welcome. Von United Internet Media. Wir freuen uns auf Matthias Ehrlich. So first of all, because Mr. Döpfner was a little bit longer, we will be a little bit shorter. I hope that's not a problem for you and not for you. So let's start very quickly, because we call the whole thing the visions of leaders. So just let me ask, and maybe we start with a little speed round right here. My vision for the digital world is?
My vision, good morning. My vision from the BBC is that we have a world where people can find the information that they want, where they want it, but from sources and brands that they trust, as well as places where they want to create their own as well, but everything kind of comes together so you can choose where you want to go and get your information.
My vision is?
Good morning, everyone. Our vision at Amazon is we start with the customer and we work backwards. We're all about delighting and satisfying our customer. And I think the fact we have over 100 million active customer accounts worldwide speaks to that vision.
Okay, I think my vision concerning this advertising space is that I think that ads will become products at the end, and it's not about context, it's about value and involvement of the consumer.
My vision is that our blockbuster formats will inform and entertain people anytime, anywhere, and hopefully we will make a lot of money with it.
We will ask some questions about that, Mr. Evelyn, later on. But first we ask Mr. Mitra, your vision is?
HSBC is a global bank, and what is absolutely at the top of our agenda is ways in which to drive trust and confidence in banking by ensuring that our brand helps people to take charge and control of the way they make money, they manage their money.
Mr. Ehrlich?
My vision is that we as a company, and I myself, will be part of the movement to make media of the future to be product-driven, best-in-class products to drive ROE instead of automated systems, machine driving down simply cost and forgetting about to win instead not to lose.
We just heard about from Mr. Döpfner. He was just telling us again that Mr. Anderson, the editor-in-chief of Wired, said actually the web is dead, the apps are the new stars. Do you agree?
No, I don't. I think people will want to find information wherever they want to, and I actually think although apps are really important, I also think as mobiles get more sophisticated, people's browser behaviour on mobiles will become more common, because sometimes it's easy just to go into a bookmark that you've got as easy as it's going to be to go to an app. So I think it's either, both of them are all as important as each other.
Mr. Ebeling, what do you think?
I think they will coexist, and I think apps are very successful, but the web is here, will stay, and apps will be very successful.
Matthias Ehrlich?
I think it's seldom a good idea to jump on the next hype or next idea instead of making your homework for things you have to work out better.
Okay. And by the way, you see that we wrote that in red here on the screen. Of course, this is not a one-way communication. Of course, you are really able to go into the discussion. Please be free to ask your questions and mail it to moderator@dmexco.de, moderator@dmexco.de. Anytime you think I have to ask my question, please send it in, and the colleagues over there, they are very quick in that. They will put it on the screen. So this is your chance to go into the discussion. One of the buzzwords right here still is, and we had some panels about that also yesterday, is the social media. Let's start maybe with this because in all that kind of visions, nobody was talking about social media, but everybody's talking about social media right here and how to make money with it. Matthias Ehrlich, he was one of the guys who told me before, I think maybe it's a little bit overrated, this topic, social media. You are very critical about that.
I think the biggest mistake people do right now if they look on this extremely interesting new way of producing media is they don't differentiate between the methodology to produce media, so the kind of way how media is produced there, and the way how to use that as advertising basis as media. There's a totally different thing. Social networks already exist and have made their way to be one of the 4 or 5 pillars of the internet world, for sure. But so far, we don't have a clear way to plan, to steer, and to control success for the main goal we have to fulfill, and we get tons of money for. It's to produce an ROI in advertisement. So it's today kind of, it's fascinating to see people to shoot into a wood and apes are falling down, but you never can predict the number of apes you can collect afterwards. And I think our task is not to shoot apes wherever they are and be lucky to shoot apes. Our is to say the customer needs 5 and we deliver in 5, to plan it, to control it. That's our task. And social media today is far away from the fact to be controllable rules and to be integrated into a professional way of producing advertising ROI.
Dr. Adler, do you agree?
I agree to some extent, but I think that social media, if you look at it from an advertiser's point of view, basically it's largely not understood. Yeah? Definitely the classical method of measuring and spray and pray and whatever doesn't work there. Yeah? So you cannot plan, therefore people ask themselves, okay, why should we go in there? So I think it's largely not understood. But if you see that it's a huge success in itself, then I think we should have a closer look and new methods will develop. And that's part of the vision statement is like, you cannot bring banner ads to people who want to communicate, they don't want to look at banner ads. It doesn't work, of course. So it's more about bringing value to them, involving them in a discussion about the brand or bringing information to them that is valuable that they can share. This is not really understood, but the power can be very big because there's a viral component, where you can really spread out these messages and these recommendations very, very quickly. Yeah? But there is no clear mechanism at the moment, and therefore it's difficult to plan, I agree, but it's largely basically not understood how to use it.
Lisa?
I agree with what you just said. At Amazon, we think about social a little differently. How many in the room, how many of you have shopped on Amazon in the last year?
Good day for you, Lisa.
So, thank you.
It was a cheap trick.
But it worked. So at Amazon, we think about social a little differently. We have something called customer reviews. I'm sure if you're shopping on Amazon, you're reading those reviews about products, and our customers are very opinionated, and they share with one another 24/7 about the products that they're buying, what they like, what they don't like. And we had an example recently with a cosmetics company who did a pre-launch where they pre-launched a new lipstick, and our customers hated it. The lipstick kept drying out. And guess what? That cosmetics company, they pulled the product. They said, thank you for the feedback. They repackaged it. They sent it back out on Amazon, and their sales went through the roof. And we drove awareness of that product through advertising. So it's a great example of how social is alive and well on Amazon and works every single day.
Rebecca?
I think the same is similar for the BBC, actually. We recently relaunched our BBC News website back in July, and we were very aware up to the launch that we wanted to really look at what people were saying at it, not only on the BBC site, but also on Twitter, on Facebook, and lots of different places. And so we made sure that we were completely transparent with everything we were doing. We made sure the editor was across every single message that was coming through. We had people from all the different departments within BBC, so not a huge group, maybe about 7 or 8 people, but someone from marketing, someone from editorial, someone from comms, so that we could really have a look and make sure that we could pick up on the things that people were saying, because we could see reactions ourselves, but we wanted to make sure that we could get everybody's reaction. And so for us, social media is a fantastic tool, both for that and editorially, for users and customers to send in information about news stories as they happen. I mean, news outlets get so much more information now because of social media than we ever did before.
One of the big topics discussed here at the Dmexco is how can a brand use the social media for its brand. Mr. Mitra, banks these days are not, let me say, the friend of the people. It's a tough time for you as a banker right now. I think looking into the social media networks, it's even tougher. Do you try to use social media for your brand? And how?
I won't give you a direct answer to that, because I think we need to understand exactly what the role of social media is. We've done a lot of research, primary research with customers, and what we hear from customers is that digital technology as a whole has actually helped people like us as individuals to take charge of what we want to consume, what we want to say, what we want to do on our own terms, as opposed to large corporations and companies telling us what they want us to hear and want us to do. And I think we should never deviate from that basic understanding, that the reason why social media is growing the way it is because of the fundamental understanding that people want their own voice to be heard. And the stand that HSBC has taken globally is that we will listen. We do not want to overtly inject our views and thoughts in a space where people don't want to listen to us. So there is that sensitivity that we are honoring, because consumers want us to listen, act on their comments, improve our products and services, and that's the direction that we're taking from our perspective.
So to make it clear, Mr. Mitra, your experience as a representative of a bank with social media is, in general, more positively or negative?
We think it is very good, because it is it's not survey-based feedback. This is feedback of customers actually engaging with us real time with our products and services and giving us their opinion, and we value that opinion and we act on it. And I think that is the nature of the relationship that banks should have with their customers.
In your vision before, you had a keyword, and that keyword was confidence.
Yes.
And I add trust to that also. But these are not the main words if I look into the social media when they are communicating with banks.
Well, it's an interaction, because we see this as a transformation. Banks have gone through a crisis. Had you asked this question 3 years ago, before the crisis happened, I don't think any of these issues would have been relevant. It's because people have burnt their fingers, banks have burnt their fingers, lots of good, strong banks have died, that we are now re-evaluating how we engage with large corporations. And I think that's the reason why I wanted to open up the funnel of thinking. It's not just banks, it's across corporations. Individuals need a voice to be heard, and social media is their voice. And I don't think corporations should impose their will on the voice of the people. So there is an element of philosophy that we strongly believe that we should honor.
Talking about trust somebody, we trust you. If you just want to send in your questions, I just want to remind you, this is the address, moderator@dmexco.de. You can mail your questions anytime. Mr. Ebeling, Mr. Mitra was just telling that people were listening. Usually, in the last decades, people were mainly listening to the presenters of BBC, of ProSieben Sat.1, Anchorman, and now this all really changed. Usually you offer a large audience, And for this audience, you exchange that with advertising time. Will the exchange also work tomorrow?
Yeah, I believe that the media are largely complementary, and if you go back in history, no medium really actually has died so far. And I think our job as TV is to deliver to large audiences high emotional content, which is stimulating discussion afterwards. And I think we have to provide relevance that people talk about, and I'm very happy to listen when they are talking on social media about our content. But this is not our job. Our job is the stimulation, to reach large audiences, and we view ourselves as being very complementary to online and social media.
Are you getting a little bit nervous when you're looking around the Dmexco and see what all kinds of new developments are coming so far away from the usual business model you have?
Yeah, I think it's always interesting to watch, and most people here are expert in their fields. I would say the first generation of adopters. If you take a look at numbers, basically TV as a medium is growing in importance. People are watching actually more time, especially those who are very online active. And the share of non-linear viewing is only 7%, and even in the UK, based on the information I have, only 2%, even in the group, which is very technology affine, is only 2% of people watching TV content live on online. So I think it's interesting. I think it will stimulate ultimately the consumption of audiovisual content, and from that perspective I'm not nervous, I'm stimulated and excited.
Do we as television people now belong to the old economics?
I would say we belong to the eternal.
So talking about eternity, what is, to make it a little bit clearer, what is the biggest challenge for you as a CEO of a big TV group right now?
The biggest challenge is people who jump on our train and are benefiting from our performance without compensating us. If you think about hybrid screens one day, where people can watch shows from RTL or from our group, like Germany's Next Top Model, and at the same time they are surfing in the internet, and some guy who is selling some display will cash in huge numbers of money, but he can cash it in because people watch Germany's Next Top Model. That's something which is making me nervous. Otherwise, I'm still fairly relaxed.
And you look relaxed, and you can see that. Mr. Handler, what do you think is the biggest challenge for you?
Okay, the biggest challenge for me, in the role of that I have in Deutsche Telekom, is basically manage this transformation that Thomas Ebeling just mentioned. Yeah? It's like, I see a little bit more challenges coming to the TV world because, of course, it's a fragmented media world, but it's fragmented from the view of media owners. Yeah? It's for the consumer. It's not fragmented. It's converging. It's the iPad, and then you watch all kinds of formats on it. You read press articles, you have broadband content, you watch web TV, and then it's the iPad channel for the consumer. So it's more converging there. And of course, this is a big challenge for all media owners, and because then we will see that all the advertising models that from the internet, with the performance measurements, and they of course also bite into these classical channels, and this of course will have deep impact on the advertising revenues. So then that's a big challenge. We from Deutsche Telekom we have IPTV of course offering, and we have strong internet assets. And for us, the biggest challenge is, how can we play this out? How can we basically raise our advertising revenues across all screens? What are the right formats to do that? That's the biggest challenge. So it's the same challenge, coming from different angles.
And maybe there is another big challenge to find corporations. There is a new corporation at this panel here. We have Mr. Ehrlich and Mr. Enle. Now you work together. This is a kind of new giants corporation. What do you really expect?
I really expect that these kind of corporations and partnerships, that this will be very important. And it's a natural sign, when the world changes, that people stick together in order to gain power on some segment, or to share experience in order to be able to make a better product for the consumer. So it's it's in this fragmented period. It's really very wise to partner up with the right partners and trying to deliver best products there. So I think we will see much more of these partnerships in the future.
Matthias, what do you expect?
I think these kind of partnership models, as Mr. Dr. Engle described, I think is one of the most important in the future. Online is now a very starts to get mature in itself. The first time, I think, if we go through Dmexco this year, it's a real industry. It's not a bunch of guys, ladies and guys, who kind of doing deals together for longer years, kind of in a certain kind of driven business. Now it's people on there. It's an industry. It's business here. Friendship, but on the other side, it's clear business ruling the whole thing. And in this stage now, the next step is for the internet to integrate into the surrounding world. For the last years, we have been very focused to ourselves. We believe that we always have the best thing in our hands. But we have to realize, as Mr. Ebeling always said, that there are a kind of internal things over there which change by technology will change. And what means conversion between online and TV. Conversion between the classical media and the digital interactive media we are providing. So we have today, and on this show, last year we made cross-media stuff together with radio. This year we have shown with cinema. We kind of try to connect into the real world, because whatever we do, the real world is still much, much bigger than the online world, from the money they make. And that's the only way to judge it. So we are moving, we are successful, far away from the ruling world.
Our topic today is, and we look again on the screen, is success in a fragmented world. I think the best example for unbelievable fragmentation is really Amazon. How many products do you have?
Millions and millions.
What is the most successful product? Is that possible to say that?
The Kindle.
Really?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah?
Yes. Do you have one?
No.
We gotta get you one.
Okay, we'll talk about that later. So maybe we can learn really from Amazon, because what I really love is when I buy something, of course there's people who bought this, bought also that. And it's unbelievable how you connect things. Actually, sometimes I get a little crazy when I see what all kind of products are connected. But fragmentation is something you really deal with every day. So I ask you the question very precisely, what makes the success really in this fragmented media world?
Okay, so the success with our customers on Amazon, and we have 10 million SKUs, we're in 42 categories, and we continue to grow. And we don't even think about it as fragmentation. We really approach it as what are our customers telling us that they need. And we focus on 3 key areas: selection, convenience, and price. Because if there's one thing we know, 10 years from now, customers won't want something that's $10 more expensive. Like, that is an input that will maintain forever, for eternity. And so by focusing on those 3 areas of selection, convenience, and price, and then also Amazon everywhere, our customers expect to be able to buy products on any device, whether it's online, on your BlackBerry, on your iPad, wherever you go. Our customers are expecting 24/7 selection, convenience, and price, and to be able to find that product that they're looking for.
Do you have a feeling that the convenience in general is getting more convenience for the consumers? Actually, or are they more irritated when they look around how many possibilities there are? I think convenience is also written with a C, like something has to be clear with a C. Is it getting clearer, this whole media world, for the consumer?
No, not at all. A good example is in the U.S., we have so many products that are difficult to find. And one of my favorite examples, there's a certain type of Korean noodle that you can no longer find in the grocery stores in the U.S. And the Korean population has discovered this noodle on Amazon, And they thank us constantly because that really difficult to find product that's no longer on the regular shelf, you can find it online. And that's just our constant focus, is how do we delight and satisfy our customers.
Okay, let's stay with this international topic. You're looking worldwide with the BBC. Do you think, is there a difference of the German digital and advertising market in comparison to the UK and the USA? I will ask Matthias ehrlich also. Okay.
No, I don't think so, because it still comes down to the customer, and I think in these markets the customer has very similar needs. I think they are, I know they can go and get something that they really want from Amazon, but at the same time I think it's deciding to try and work out from a customer and also from someone who's producing content and for advertisers, which kind of horses do you back. So where do you sort of say, okay, well, we think this is probably going to be quite big, or we think that might be, because we only have a certain amount of money that we can invest in things, and we need to try and understand that. And that's, I think, one of the tricky things, both for customers and for advertisers and for people creating content these days.
I would say that there, in the media perspective, there's a big difference between the German market or, for example, the UK market, because the UK market is more or less, in the internet world, structured like the 53rd state of the United States. So the structure, how media is spent, the structure, who is selling media, is quite similar. The market is governed by the same brands as is governed in the States. Whereas in Germany we have, after World War II, we have very strong media industry. So the print houses like Springer, which Mr. Döpfner presented this morning, or on the TV side, we have a very special setup between the state-owned and the private industry. And this makes it, if you look to the top 10 list of media companies in Germany, you see that those worldwide giants like Microsoft and Yahoo have problems to stay within the top 10 rank so far. And this, I think, is quite a unique situation. So I think we are in this very special situation that some of the product-driven companies like the eBays, the Amazons, whatever, own their share of the market as they do in other companies. But it comes to pure media, the play is different. The play is among the Germany-based leaders, and I don't see a real difference because to some extent even this is a much more sophisticated market. For example, targeting. I think US players agree that this is something which is definitely one of the 2-3 things in internet start in Europe, and technology is superior to everything else in the world for advertising-based targeting in Germany. So this market is different. What's great for us because differentiation is easy.
Mr. Evelyn, if this comparison worldwide is shown by you, what do you think? Is it this different market between the UK and the US and Europe, especially Germany?
No, I think the German market is to some degree a little bit more protected simply by language. I think our viewers still like synchronized formats, and they don't go necessarily to the US or to Hulu and they download original versions. That's for us a big advantage, and I think with our media power we can reach half of the population relatively quickly. All of our channels are reaching 30 million people every day. That's very easy for us to achieve and probably more difficult for any media company in the US to achieve. And secondly, distribution is easier for us. Our programs can be seen on the internet or mobile, everywhere. So I think we are a little bit better protected than in some other markets.
So
TV company.
The language is a very...
helps.
It helps. That's why we talk now in English, by the way.
Yeah.
Talking about in English or in German, I just want to remind you for the last time, if you have any questions, please be free to ask and mail them in. So far, we don't have one. Is that true? Colleagues in the back? No questions? We have a question? No. So this is the place of answers. This is the credo of the Dmexco, but this is also the place of the questions. Here they come. Okay. Maybe put it on the big screen, the questions. And here we go with the first questions. What will be more important in terms of monetization in the future, relevant content or advertising? Are these two converging? So, who's going to answer that one? You can do that?
I think they are converging, but I think from a consumer perspective, you have to be really careful because there's still that trust element, and you have to make sure that users understand when they're seeing something that's coming as an advertising message and when they're seeing something that's coming as genuine content. For the BBC, trust is a really important part for us, and we can't be seen to be sort of having our stories changed because of advertising. So I think, although advertisers, want to be related with the BBC brand, what we have to do is form this special relationship so that users understand that relationship and still see what they get the benefits from the advertiser as well as the benefits from the brand.
Lisa?
On Amazon, they're absolutely converging. So if there's one thing about the Amazon customer, I think the expectation and our bar is set even higher. Because the exchange is a little different in an e-commerce environment. In a portal, you're reading that free article, you look at an ad. On Amazon, you are searching for that product. You want to make sure that advertising is as relevant as possible. So for example, if a new mom is looking at a product detail page on Pampers, and we serve an ad that promotes a discount on Pampers, that is a relevant experience for that mother versus just serving up some random advertising.
We should ask the second questions. Can you share one concrete initiative in terms of how you have to change structures, processes, behavior in your company to gain success in the digital world? Mr. Mitra, maybe this is a question for you.
Yes, we recently started a program to talk exactly about these things, about structures, processes, and behaviors. And it's a very, very difficult job because different people in the organization have different perspectives on the role of digital engagement, the importance of digital engagement for the growth of the business. What we did was we again rolled back, and you might think that this is very philosophical, but we as a bank try to do things from grassroots to understand what are we trying to effect over here. And what we agreed between ourselves was with defining what is the outcome that we want to achieve with our consumers. And let me elaborate that a little bit. What we basically said that people who engage with the brand want to essentially feel happy to engage with the brand. They don't want to feel frustrated, they don't want to feel angry, they don't want to feel disappointed. So anything that we do as an organization must be geared towards delivering a positive emotional outcome. So what we did was, and I recently presented a paper at ISOMAR on an emotional outcome measure. And we have we use faces, and we asked people to rate how they felt at that point of time when they engaged with the bank, whether it be digital, whether it be at the branch, whether they were buying something from us, whether the quality of a product or service. All our processes, all our people are aligned to delivering positive experiences. There is no service manual which says, here are 5 steps to doing process A and another 10 steps to doing process B. Everybody takes it on themselves to ensure that when the customer engages with the bank, they go away feeling satisfied that they've got what they came to do. It's a very different way of looking at things. And it is a slow process. Let me assure you, this is not the end of the journey, it's the beginning of the journey. But we've set in stone that we are going to measure emotional outcome of all our actions.
I would like to ask this question also, Dr. Endele. The Deutsche Telekom is going through so many processes in the last decades. How could you answer this question?
Okay, from my background, I'm still CEO of Scout24, so I am in the digital world, and I can give you one example there, and then maybe transform this to Deutsche Telekom. In Scout24, for example, we discussed about social media, and we discovered that that there is no kind of it's not the right processes to do this kind of hierarchically or do have any division, just thinking about social media, because social media is so integrated into product and into marketing, so that from a process point of view, it's not this marketing planning thing you can do. It's really about bringing the right people together from products, from marketing, from other divisions, and then basically try to get a holistic view and then experiment very fast. Do it, throw it away, do it again, throw it away, and then trying to get a feeling what's going on there, and then you learn something. Yeah? That's kind of a totally different process than traditional media planning. That's one thing from the digital world to enter the social media world. For Deutsche Telekom, of course, the big challenge there is, and this is my new role now, is to enable the Deutsche Telekom to transform into this world. And the biggest challenge often is a mindset thing. It's like in the internet, the speed is much higher. In the internet, products can be scaled and services can be scaled worldwide within seconds. And it's not about the walled gardens anymore. Trying just to focus on your own customers. It's really about opening up, because only if you open up, the products have the right quality and the right value for the customer. Yeah? That's kind of a different thinking, if you enter the IP world on this IP services basis. Yeah, that's the biggest challenge.
You just mentioned the keyword, and the keyword is still the customer. We have so many new gadgets, we have so many new apps, new technical ideas outside this door, but I think still in the center we have the customer. So let me ask this very simple question. Who knows the digital customer best? The brand, the advertising agency, or the ad sales networks? Who knows the customer best? Mr. Ehrlich.
Well, that's very easy.
It's you.
No, it's not me. It's the part of our company where people directly are confronted and work and on a daily basis with our services. So these guys who are producing the media, they know the customer. They have a long history. Some customers from the mid-90s have accompanied the way of our brands. So what I as in my job I have to do is basically to see how we can communicate for my customers advertising messages to them. So basically something completely different. And agencies kind of are more, what the hell they do. Agencies should have a consulting role to kind of control the process and to make a job designed after objectives coming from us, from the brand, from the advertisers. So I think customers, the insights, simply by those guys who do it on a daily basis, the Amazons, the WebGEs, the Gmax, the Facebooks, whatever. And the advertising world has a totally different job.
Agree, disagree?
Yeah.
It works.
I don't know how many of us would really agree that we would like to be called a digital customer. I don't think there is any animal called a digital customer. We choose to do things in different ways based on convenience, based on comfort, entertainment, fun, purely rational reasons. And the key point for us buyers of media, I think the key bit is to understand what those interests and needs are, why people choose to do things online. And then our communication is targeted towards making our content relevant to the reasons why people choose to do things online. And that's why I think Amazon is so successful, because they have a process where they are able to give the kind of information that people find useful to help them make choices. It's about making decisions easier for people, and that's the way to look at digital media from a buying perspective.
Because we have only 2 minutes left, we started with a quick round, so let's end maybe with a quick round also. And this time I want to ask you from the audience view, from the right to the left, to maybe answer this, or to say, to be successful in the fragmented media world, we have to be.
Concentrate, I don't want to repeat the phrase concentrate on the customer, But understand that in a changing world, a fragmented world, there's one constant point of contact. That's the person we talk to. So everything coming from an environment-orientated thinking to user-concentrated thinking. And that's, I think, the best way to steer through this special, ever-changing, fragmented world.
Mr. Mitra?
Make relevant content.
That's it. Mr. Eberle?
Be the best company in impacting large audiences through the best content, broad distribution, and superior marketing power.
Mr. Adel?
I think at the end it comes down to value for the customer in any way. You know, right formats for the customer, and you should think about the fragmented channels, but you should design formats in order to be able to play out these formats through all these channels. You should design it from the beginning for that. But above all, you should focus on what's the value for the customer, and then it will get through if you do a good job afterwards.
I would say what I said in the beginning is just start with the customer and work backwards, and listen to our customers, and don't be afraid to change based on what our customers are asking us for.
And mine is about being a brand that people can trust, so that in a fragmented world we sometimes have huge global events that everyone has to come together for to try and find out what's going on and where it is, and a lot of people come to the BBC for that, and we want to continue doing that regardless of what platform they're using.
Thanks for your time at this very fragmented day today at the Dmexco, and thanks for answering all the questions. Thank you very much, and I think thank you for your questions. Thanks to our panel right here. Thank you very much.